Welcome. We are diving headfirst into the absolute frenzy that is artificial intelligence in October 2025. It really is a gold rush for the modern age, a completely chaotic mix of incredible progress, dizzying investment, and some pretty intense controversy. So let's try and break down what on earth is happening.
So on one hand, the promise is just immense. We are seeing AI fundamentally rewrite how we build things. This month alone, you've got Microsoft and Anthropic releasing tools that don't just help developers, they create entire automated systems. They're making coding faster and more efficient than we've ever seen before. This is the real heart of the boom, technology that is genuinely transformative. But on the other hand, the financial world is starting to get really nervous. A top UK tech investor is pointing to what he's calling disconcerting signs of a stock bubble. And this right here, this sets up the massive tension at the core of this whole thing. Groundbreaking innovation versus the very real fear of a financial crash. And that tension, it's not just financial, it's hitting our culture, and it's hitting it hard. The Screen Actors Guild just put out this fiery statement about a new, completely AI-generated character. Her name is Tilly Norwood, and she is now actively looking for Hollywood representation. So, yeah, this isn't just about technology anymore. It's a fight over what it means to be creative, and maybe even what it means to be human.
Okay, so to make sense of this storm of progress, money, and conflict, let's take a look at the core forces that are driving this boom. We're going to break it down into three key areas. First, you've got the engines. These are the new AI models and tools themselves. Second, there's the fuel, the staggering amounts of money being poured into the industry. And third, the infrastructure, the actual physical AI factories being built in a global race for dominance.
Let's start with the engines. In just the past few months, pretty much every major player, we're talking OpenAI, Anthropic, Meta, Google, they've all released these groundbreaking new models that are just smarter, faster, and way more capable than anything we've ever seen before.
Now, what's really interesting here is how specialized these new tools have become. You can kind of think of them as different pickaxes for this gold rush. So OpenAI's GPT-5, it's a master of complex reasoning, and it has multimodal capabilities. That means it understands text, images, and sound all at once. Then you have Anthropic's Claude 4, which uses something called extended thinking for pinpoint accuracy, making it perfect for big company coding projects. Meta's Llama 4 is open source, and it has this massive context window. Think of it like short-term memory that can analyze millions of words at once. And Google's Gemini has a deep think mode for really methodical, step-by-step logic. Each one is a huge leap forward. And it's not just the models themselves. It's the tools that actually let you use them. Microsoft just dropped a preview of its agent framework, which is an open source kit that lets developers easily build workflows where multiple AIs can collaborate on tasks together. At the same time, Anthropic is claiming its new model, Sonnet 4.5, is the best coding model in the world. The technology is just accelerating on all fronts.
Okay, now let's talk about the fuel. Every gold rush needs money, right? And this one has it in spades. In 2025 alone, venture capitalists have funneled an astonishing $193 billion into AI startups. That number is, it's almost hard to wrap your head around. And this right here, this just brilliantly illustrates the scale of that investment. For the first time since the dot-com bubble, a single sector, AI, is soaking up more than half of all global venture capital. Now, the big concern here is that AI is effectively starving every other industry of the funding they need for innovation, from healthcare to climate tech. And this intense focus is creating some just eye-watering valuations. Anthropic is now valued at $170 billion, and OpenAI is reportedly in talks for a share sale that would value it at $500 billion. These were exactly the kind of sudden massive jumps that have investors whispering about a bubble. Okay, so we've got the tools and we've got the money. But where does this gold rush actually happen? Well, it happens on the new frontier, these massive, power-hungry data centers that people are now calling AI factories. And this infrastructure race is quickly turning into a global competition. And the US and China are taking two very different paths. The US is going all in on a massive build-out, with tech giants spending hundreds of billions of dollars to create just overwhelming computing power. China, on the other hand, is kind of pulling back. After a building frenzy created a lot of data centers that were just sitting idle, Beijing is now pivoting to focus on real-world applications using something called inference. That's the process of using a trained AI model to make predictions, which is way less computationally demanding.
So, this combination of powerful new models, huge investment, and a global infrastructure race, it's having some profound consequences. Let's zoom out a bit and look at how this gold rush is remaking our world, from our culture to our very sense of what's real.
The very nature of creativity is being called into question. OpenAI recently launched Sora 2, which isn't just a video generator, it's a social network where you can only post videos created by the AI. You can't upload your own content. Just think about that for a second. A social network with zero user-generated content, only AI-generated content. And then there's Tilly Norwood. She is a completely digital creation billed by her founder as the world's first artificial intelligence talent studio. And they are not aiming small. They are literally pitching her as the next Scarlett Johansson and are actively seeking representation from major Hollywood agents. This is no longer some theoretical debate. This is happening now.
Now, this has, pretty unsurprisingly, provoked a massive backlash. The Screen Actors Guild argues that creativity has to remain human-centered, that these AI creations lack life experience, emotion, and nuance. They believe audiences want stories that are connected to the human experience, something they argue a computer program can never truly replicate.
This all leads us to a new and absolutely critical concept: agentic AI. We are moving way beyond simple chatbots here. These are cutting-edge systems that can act on their own, collaborate with other AIs, and behave in ways that can be difficult for their own creators to predict or even control. This leap in autonomy, it carries entirely new kinds of risk.
So with the technology becoming so powerful and so autonomous, the final piece of this puzzle is the race to control it. As this gold rush gets wilder and wilder, governments are scrambling to establish some kind of law and order on this new frontier.
And we're starting to see the first real attempts at this. California just signed a new bill that forces developers to report serious safety incidents. It protects whistleblowers who raise alarms, and crucially, it establishes a legal definition for catastrophic risk, which it says is foreseeable harm that could result in more than 50 deaths or $1 billion in damage. This is a truly landmark piece of legislation. Which leaves us with the central question of this entire gold rush. As these AI systems become more agentic, more capable of acting on their own, who is really in control? Is it the companies building them? Is it the governments trying to regulate them? Or, in a future that we can no longer ignore, is it the agents themselves?